Good morning, lovely people, and I'm back for another edition of SMR, Simple Monday Reflections. And today, I want to spend some time speaking to you about celebrating your wins. Yes, celebrating your wins, because a lot of people, they wait for big, major, obvious wins before they celebrate them. So things that everyone can notice or they themselves it stands out to themselves, then they go off and celebrate it. But I'm here to tell you that in every endeavor you do, doesn't matter how small or how big it is, every shot you give it, there's a win for you to celebrate there. Let me illustrate this let me tell you a story that may illustrate this. The other day, I was doing my 10k morning run, and as you all know, I like to do my runs quite regularly during the week. But anyway, all my runs seem to be the same time all the time. I couldn't get past a certain time. But anyway, in this particular run, I decided in my head, right, I'm going to beat my time. So I set off early and I set my pace a bit faster than normal. And I was running. And in midway in the run, I started saying to myself, yes, I'm going to beat my time. You know, my pace is a lot faster. I can feel it's faster. And so I was getting excited that, I didn't look at my clock or anything, but I was getting excited in myself that, I'm going to beat my time because I'm running a lot faster than I normal run. So anyway, I started running, and then I got to the end. I was anxious to look at what time I ran. I looked at my watch at the end when it said the 10k time limit, and I looked at my time, and I was worse. My time was slower than my normal time. And first of all, I started thinking to myself, that's not good. You know what I mean? That isn't as good as before. And it's kind of got a little bit disheartened, but then I quickly snapped off and I realized what I'm about to share with you now. Every shot you give at it is a win. I said that to myself, every shot you give at it is a win. And what it done, it changed my perspective. Because then I started to think about the run. And I started to thinking about the run. And then I started to realize, hey, wait a minute. I was running with such a good form during that run. My form was fantastic. Not only that, I remember that my breathing, my control of my breathing, I was so in control of that run all the way through from the beginning to the end. And then I realized when I came to the end of this run, I had so much more energy. I felt alive. I felt like I just started. So my time wasn't as great, but there was so much distinctions inside that run that were wins for me. And once I realized that they were wins for me, I was able to put a smile on my face, celebrate that run. Even though the time wasn't as good as before, but I was able to celebrate that run because of the distinctions I created in there. And I became more aware of what was going on and aware of my performance, how it was better in different ways. So guys, that is what I want to try to emphasize to you. Don't wait for the big win before you celebrate. You have to create more distinctions in your life. Don't be fooled by and misled by thinking that this performance was worse or better than the previous performance because it was different. Yes, it was different. Of course it was different. You're a different person than you were yesterday or last week or last month. Your thinking is different. The things on your mind are different. The day is different. The weather is different. So of course your performance is going to be different. But different doesn't make it better or worse. Better or worse are just constructs we put on ourselves based on our previous performance or what we believe before was good or bad. And then we think today's experience isn't as good because we're basing it on that. But the way to create a win for you in every scenario, in every performance you do, is create more distinctions. Start asking yourself, what was different about this performance that was from last time? What was different? How was I different in this performance in a positive way than last time? What was different? What opened up an opportunity? What opportunity opened up this time that wasn't presented last time? Because there's always going to be something new there that you've grown in some way. Unless you limit yourself by attaching yourself to your previous performance, like the best is not yet to come. The best is always yet to come, guys. You just got to find it in different ways. The fact that you're moving forward, the fact that you're giving it a shot is a win in itself. Because if you're moving forward, you're moving upward, you're progressing. So that in itself is a win, but there's so much more wins to gain in that performance if you start to create more distinctions in your life. Don't leave it down to the obvious or leave it down to the most prevalent ones that you see, because the obvious ones are not always the most significant ones. The obvious ones are there for all to see, but they're not always the ones that make you grow as a person, that improve your performance for the next time round. It's when you look at the small distinctions Is when you look at them and start to magnify the small ones. And they're the ones that create you, the ones that give you the learnings. So the next time you do it, you can implement them, small learnings, those small differences, those small wins. You implement them to your next performance, your next activity, or your next endeavor, or whatever it is you're doing. So guys, today's lesson, I really want to emphasize on small distinction, little wins. Guys, we all like to celebrate, don't we? Everyone likes to celebrate, but why do you always wait for Christmas, birthday, New Year's? You're always waiting for these big, obvious distinctions before you, obvious wins, before you celebrate. And you carry that into your own progress life. You carry that same idea, it has to be big, it has to be, someone else has to celebrate or acknowledge it for me to celebrate myself. No. And that's not the case. It doesn't have to be the case. You've only created that case based on your previous thinking and thoughts. But if you start changing perspective, changing the way you start to see things, and then you start to realize every shot I give it, it's going to be a win for me. There's a win inside every shot that I give it. I'm a different person. The performance is different. I can't expect it to be the same. But just because it's not the same, it doesn't mean that it wasn't a good one for me. I have to find out what were the distinctions inside there that made this performance different. And that difference is, in that difference, there's a win to celebrate, guys. So as you go on through today, find those distinctions in life. And it's not just about in your performance, it's also about in everyday life. Like when you're walking down the road and you're walking in the park, look for different distinctions that can make you smile. Don't always wait to see something, an occurrence or something to happen that makes you smile in the face. Look for different distinctions. Maybe start looking at the trees or looking at the flowers and break it down and start saying to yourself, oh wow, look at the shape of that flower, or look at the shape of that tree. Put a little smile on your face. Get better distinctions in life, in everything, in understanding, in relating with people. When people are talking to you, create more distinctions. Like for example, don't just listen to what they're saying, but start creating more distinctions. For example, like you might start to saying, well, why do they think that way? Or what may have led to them thinking that way? Or, you know, what else can I see that is quite unique in their approach, as opposed to always trying to conflict or be right or wrong. Create different distinctions in your life. But the most important, guys, is create distinctions in your performances so you can have those wins and celebrate those wins. Guys, like I always say, this life's amazing. You guys are amazing. Make your day amazing. Excellent. Peace. I'm out. Look for those distinctions.